Thank you for joining us. It's a special pre-recorded edition of WMKV Cares here on 89.3 FM and 89.9 FM, streaming around the world at WMKVFM.org. We have one guest by phone today from California, and that is writer and co-director of a film called Fort McCoy. Kate Connor is joining us, as well as Tim Swallow from Cincinnati World Cinema. And the reason we have these two wonderful guests here with us today is the fact that there is a Women in Film weekend happening December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie. And this is, again, a celebration of women in film. Fort McCoy will be the feature film of this incredible weekend, December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie. I send out a big welcome to Kate from California and Tim here in our studio. Thank you both for being on with us today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Let's talk for just a moment to the writer and co-director. She's also starring in this film, Kate Connor. Kate, can you give us a little bit of the background, the inspiration, if you will, maybe even a synopsis of Fort McCoy? And this is very timely that this is showing December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie as part of this special weekend.
Yes, well, Fort McCoy is based on a true story when my grandparents lived next to a German POW camp in Wisconsin during the war. And there were also Japanese POWs there as well. And it really all takes place the summer of 1944. And their experience living between the POW camp and the American Army installation.
And so you have brought this story literally to life with a cast that includes Eric Stoltz, who people have seen on everything. I go all the way back with Eric Stoltz to Pulp Fiction. Kate Connor, you star in this as well. Lindsay Fonseca, Andy Hirsch, Cameron Manheim, another name that people will recognize very much. This is a wonderful cast. How was this cast assembled?
Eric came to be a part of the project. He's also a producer on it as well, through a mutual friend, Todd Harris. And the other people all came aboard through their agents or my requesting them or auditioning. And it is truly an amazing cast. Seymour Cassell was nominated for the Academy Award for his work with John Cassavetes. He's gone way back and is in all Wes Anderson's movies. Cameron Manheim, of course, has won the Golden Globe and the Emmy, and everyone loves her from everything from The Practice to her current show Extant with Halle Berry. And Eric started out in the movie Mask, which he was nominated for the Golden Globe for. He's an amazing actor. And Lindsay Fonseca now, everyone would have seen her on the series Nikita, and she's currently going to be in the new show Agent Carter, which is one of the Marvel Comics shows, and in the movies Kick-Ass, etc. So a really wonderful cast.
Just a tremendous cast. We also have Tim Swallow here with us from Cincinnati World Cinema. Tim, thank you for coming back in with us. And can you give us a little bit of background, and feel free to chime in later here, Kate, on the Women in Film weekend. This speaks volumes. Not only is it the weekend of Pearl Harbor Day, December 6th and 7th, when we have this film, Fort McCoy, which is set in that time period, but it's also very important to stress and showcase emerging directors, writers, and stars, women in film.
We're bringing in LunaFest, which is our 8th annual showing of the Shorts Festival, which are films by, for, and about women, and also for the men who care about women. And that will show at 4 o'clock at the Carnegie. And then our feature event is at 7, and that's Fort McCoy. So what we have is a collection of films that are made by women filmmakers, screenwriters, women stars. About 30% of the films that we show at Cincinnati World Cinema are made by women.
Kate, what's your feeling on this Women in Film weekend? Is this something that you think more cities, more communities should be doing to kind of accentuate the fact that women are emerging in more powerful roles in film?
I do. I think it's wonderful that Tim's put together this weekend. And I think women's voices as filmmakers are extremely important to support, and there needs to be more and more of it. We were fortunate to go all around the world on the festival circuit with this movie, and fortunately won a lot of awards. And some of the festivals had 50% female filmmakers, which were 50% of the population, so that's the number to strive for, of course.
Do you ever think of the impact that you may be having? It's kind of that when you drop a pebble in a puddle of water and you see the waves rippling out, that there might be in that audience somebody that you inspire when they see Fort McCoy and say, I want to do something like that, or I have my own inspiration now.
That's amazing. Across the country and even the world on the festival circuit now, with our movie being in theaters currently, and it's also out digitally now, but with all these audiences, in every single audience there'd be somebody who'd raise their hand in the Q&A and say, I have a story in my family or something, what should I do with it? And I would tell everyone, at the minimum, just grab a video camera and record your stories in interviews for posterity, for your own family. You don't know if it's not you. You don't know if it's your great-grandchild that you might not even meet wants to write a book or make a movie or just to keep the stories alive within your family. I think it's very important, and it's been inspiring to have that exchange with people.
If you're just joining us here on WMKV Cares, we have a recorded show today, so we can't take any phone calls, but our special guests are Kate Connor, the writer and co-director of Fort McCoy, the feature film, and the Women in Film Weekend, December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie. We also have Tim Swallow here with us from Cincinnati World Cinema, who is putting on this incredible set of features, including LunaFest, the short film festival. Art Carvers of Music Hall will also be featured. Tim, how can people find tickets for this? Do you anticipate some people coming out both days? Maybe they come out on the 6th and say, I'm bringing somebody on the 7th.
Well, that would be delightful, but the way it's set up is that the LunaFest films will screen at 4 o'clock on Saturday, and then Fort McCoy is at 7 o'clock on Saturday. That program repeats, George, on Sunday, again at 4 and 7.
How can people get tickets for this event?
CincyWorldCinema.org or 859-957-FILM. For the alphabetically challenged, that's 859-957-3456.
3456. It's so easy. I had no idea film came out that easily. And again, it's CincyWorldCinema.org, and that's Cincy with a Y. Definitely want to make sure it's a Y. But you can type in Cincinnati World Cinema. You'll find it if you Google that. Here.
Yeah. One of the other things about this film is that, and I think Kate mentioned this in an interview elsewhere, is that her great uncle was reluctant to talk about his wartime experiences. My father was as well, and my other male relatives that served in World War II. Yet at some point they do open up. And Kate was lucky to be able to learn these things and share them in a film. I think that will mean a lot to people whose parents or grandparents lived at this time.
Back to Kate Connor for just a moment, the writer and co-director of Fort McCoy.
And star.
Yes. Kate, this film has won multiple awards. I know it won Best Drama in the Cannes Indie Film Competition. What are some of the other awards that this has garnered? And are you still taken back a little bit, even though this is your baby in many ways?
Yes, thank you. We won several Best Features, everywhere from Hollywood Film Festival to Savannah, Rhode Island, in Colorado, and we won Best Music, and I got Best Actress in Milan, and various awards from Florida to Washington. So anyway, it was amazing, and I was taken aback. You work so hard just to finish the film, and then you put it out there and, hope that it gets a life, and the journey has been extraordinary. So much fun going everywhere from Shanghai to Sao Paulo, Dublin to Montreal. So I really got to see the world with this film and share the story with people of all different cultures. And I think it's been wonderful because it has the universal themes of love and family and peace and things that everyone can relate to no matter what age you are or what culture you're from.
To build on Kate's comments about its success around the world, I think that one of the compelling reasons for people around here to come out and see this film is that it is made in a small town in the Midwest. It was filmed in the La Crosse, Fort McCoy area in Wisconsin, and it really conveys the values of family life. The actual family in the film is originally from Iowa. They moved to Fort McCoy, and it's about a tightly knit family that really becomes part of a community. And you see a lot of the essence of small town America, whether it's the movie houses or the wonderful period costumes that were designed for this film, even the basic shyness as a young couple in their 20s goes through the dating process and falls in love. It all takes us back to an era that is hard to imagine today, and it really evokes the values and the emotions, I think, George, of our own community. That's why people should come out and see this.
Here, here. And again, this is happening December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie. We'll get to the Carnegie location in just a moment, but Kate, I have a question for you. Was there a turning point at which you went from just hopeful that this would take on a life of its own to the point where you said, wow, we've got something on our hands here?
Well, the first time you screen it for an audience and get positive reaction is the most thrilling moment. And just going off of what Tim said, too, we were given permission by the Department of Defense to shoot part of it at the actual Fort McCoy, which is amazing. Not very many films get permission, so we have the DOD behind it, and I'm amazed because Fort McCoy is an active Army installation that we were able to shoot there. Nowhere still looks World War II. They built something like 1,500 barracks in World War II to last 6 or 7 years, and 1,100 of them are still standing. So you'll see the authentic place where everything took place in the film.
Tim, have you had a chance to see the film yet?
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. Tell me your gut reaction when you saw this film.
Well, basically the things that I shared before about sense of community. I think the casting is excellent. Another thing that makes this film so enjoyable is that it doesn't rush you to some obvious conclusion. It lets the characters develop some depth, and there are also multiple storylines. So there are different things to follow, and there are young children, there's a young couple in their 20s, there's the late 30, maybe early 40-something parents who are going through their own issues, and the fact that it's based on a true story just really commends it to the audience.
We're talking here with both Tim Swallow from Cincinnati World Cinema, as well as writer, co-director, and star of Fort McCoy, Kate Connor, who is joining us from California. Fort McCoy will be showing December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie as part of the Women in Film Weekend, also the Luna Fest Short Film Festival, the Art Carvers of Music Hall. It promises to be an incredible weekend, December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie. Tim, before I get too far in, can you tell us where the Carnegie is and how people can find out more?
The easiest way to think of the Carnegie is that it's 10 blocks from the Ohio River, 10 blocks from the Suspension Bridge in Covington, Kentucky. Very, very easy to get to.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the music in Fort McCoy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad Tim pointed that out. We were very fortunate to get amazing period music, including Edith Piaf, Johnny Mercer, Joe Stafford, the Pied Pipers. We're very excited and proud of the beautiful music in this movie. And we also have a wonderful score that we got to record with the London Metropolitan Orchestra, who did the music for movies like Gangs of New York with Martin Scorsese.
Yes, we have a few minutes left here with Tim Swallow from Cincinnati World Cinema and writer, co-director, and star of Fort McCoy, Kate Connor. I want to make sure we get all the particulars out there again, but Kate, is there a particular message that you would like to send to people as far as coming to this event, especially with it being the Women in Film Weekend? Any thoughts that you have on this event coming up on December 6th and 7th here in Cincinnati?
I just look forward to sharing the film with the community, and I think, like you said earlier, it's particularly apropos that it's the Pearl Harbor anniversary, which is the reason we were in World War II, among other obvious, huge reasons. And the movie really shows love and family and the blurred line between good and evil that exists in humanity.
Exactly.
Tim, can you give us the details again, and can you give us a thumbnail on what to expect with Luna Fest as well? We haven't really talked much about that.
Well, Kate suggested people grab a camera and start to document the key things in their lives, which is great advice. And to build on that a bit, if there are people out there who want to make short films and gain an introduction to the film industry, submitting those films to an organization such as Luna Fest, which is in Berkeley, California, is a great idea, because there are 800 different films that are submitted each year, and we show the top 8, the winners, on an annual basis. And so we always are looking at a lot of diversity, some great writing, and some excellent performances by women filmmakers. And this year's group are from Canada, Spain, the UK, and the US. And that will be at 4 o'clock on Saturday, and it repeats again at 4 o'clock on Sunday, and followed each day at 7 o'clock by Fort McCoy.
for people to get tickets, this is happening at the Carnegie in Covington, Kentucky, and the number to get tickets?
859-957-3456 or CincyWorldCinema.org.
For those people who are undecided or still up in the air, do you think that there will be tickets at the door? Any chance that there'll be tickets at the door?
Right, and I know that we typically don't talk about price on radio, but I can tell you that they are less expensive in advance, and then the price goes up on the day of the show. So most people get them in advance.
Very good. And Kate Connor, thank you so much for taking time from California. Thank you for putting your body, soul, and inspiration and passion into a wonderful film, Fort McCoy. We look forward to having it showing here December 6th and 7th at the Carnegie. Thank you, Kate, for taking time with us today.
Thanks so much. Oh, well, thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you to Tim Swallow. Thank you to Kate Connor. Hey, we're out of time. You're listening to WMKV Cares. Again, that number, 859-957-FILM, or you can find out more at CincyWorldCinema.org. That's Cincy with a Y.